All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It is Liverpool 0, PSG 2. Your match reaction of Liverpool's game against PSG at the Parc des Princes in the UEFA Champions League. And of course, it is just the first leg. So we still have the second leg to go. This is just half time, and therefore anything can happen in the second leg. But after saying all that, I do not believe that Liverpool have a chance, not even a 1% chance of qualifying past PSG in this particular tie. The only reason or the only time that I would think that Liverpool will be able to overturn this result and qualify to the next round is if I thought Liverpool are capable of playing the way PSG did today against us. If we are capable of doing that, then I would think that maybe we have a chance. But even at Anfield, with our supporters and with everything, with all the history behind us, we have shown this season that this team is just not good enough. And it is not because we don't have good individual players or our players are not at the level that is required to play for Liverpool. They are, and even more than they should be. But the main reason why we cannot qualify past PSG is simply because of the difference in coaching. One team is well coached, the other team is poorly coached. For whatever reason, this Liverpool side looks poorly coached. In this particular game, we went into the game right from the word goal, playing five at the back, two midfielders, two defensive midfielders basically, and three players up top in the shape of Soboslai, Vets, and Ekitike. Now, we started well. I think we were able to nullify their threat in the first 5-6 minutes. We were very, very compact. They had very few touches in our penalty area. They were bopping the ball around, but in areas where they couldn't really be a threat. We were in our shape, we were comfortable, we were dealing with them in that first 6-7 minutes. But it got to a point where I don't know what happened, whether we became tired or I don't know exactly. But we started giving them encouragement. We started allowing them to get into our penalty area. We started making last ditch tackles. And when they got their first goal came in the first 11 minutes. We conceded the first goal in the first 11 minutes of the game. And it came from a scenario where we had so many bodies in our penalty area. Three players around surrounding Desiree Doué, who shot the ball, got the deflection, and beat the keeper right in the middle of the goal. The ball wasn't to the side of the goalkeeper. It was straight at the goalkeeper, on top of him. The ball went over him. Right after the ball went over the keeper, it dipped right below the bar and went in. Quite bizarre goal to concede. We had a lot of bodies, enough bodies around Desiree Doué to stop the ball from even going 10 yards away from where Desiree Doué shot the ball. But for one reason or the other, some way, somehow, we contrived to allow him to hit the ball, and he got the deflection, which ended up in a goal. And I think it is not unlucky. It wasn't an unlucky goal. The reason why I say it is not an unlucky goal is because we kept sitting deep and deep. We kept playing very, very deep. Now, the other issue on top of that, on top of playing very, very deep, is that we had no threat on the counter attack. We had no transitional threat. I compared today's game with Madrid's game against Bayern Munich yesterday. And what you see is that with Madrid's game, they defended very well, they were compact. But on top of that, when they won the ball back, they had some threat about them. They had a plan. The plan was clear. The plan was that Vinicius Jr. was not going to drop as deep. He was always going to hang around in those pockets on the left hand side. And therefore, whenever Madrid got the ball, they were looking for him. In our case, the plan was so poor, it was so inadequate that players did not know what to do when we won the ball back. We won the ball several times in that first 11 minutes before we conceded the goal, but we didn't know what to do with the ball. So what that does is that it gives the opposition encouragement. It removes any fear of the counter threat. So the center backs are able to join in. They are able to push forward and try to press very, very hard. People are complaining about Hugo Ekitike's performance today, and I don't understand why. He was poor today, don't get me wrong. But the reason why he was poor today was because the system wasn't designed to make him flourish. Hugo Ekitike himself is supposed to be our focal point. He's supposed to be our number 9. Now, he dropped so deep to come and help with the defense that when we win the ball back and he gets it, there is no run beyond him. The only option he has is to play the back pass. Hugo Ekitike is a kind of player who is not used to playing back passes. He's a forward player. He's a forward-thinking player. He wants to go forward. So when he gets the ball, he doesn't want to play the back pass. He doesn't have options going forward, and therefore he holds on to the ball too long, and he gets dispossessed. It happened also to Dominic Szoboszlai several times. He gets the ball, he wants to play a forward pass. There is no run beyond him. He doesn't want to give the back pass, and therefore he gets pressed and he loses the ball. So for me, I think the strategy wasn't good enough. Going in to try and sit tight and defend was okay for me. But whenever you decide that that is your plan in a game, you need to carry a transitional threat. If the threat is absent, there is no point doing it. You might as well open up and play and concede 5 or 6. Because when you do this, what you do is that you are basically giving the initiative to the opponent and telling them to continuously attack you. And when that happens, there is a high chance that there's going to be a deflected shot that ends up in the back of the net. So that first goal wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a misfortune for Liverpool. It was because Liverpool played too deep and we did not have any threat going forward. So in that first half, we played without having a single shot on target. And that goes back to my point of 0 transitional threat. The coach didn't train that with the boys. So you could see clearly they were confused. They didn't know what to do. Instead of playing quick, one-touch football and moving the ball forward. We've seen teams do this in the Champions League. Even when you go back and look at the game between Barca and Atletico Madrid did that very well today. That is how come they won. They were defending deep, but immediately they won the ball. They were calm and composed. They knew what to do. You could see they had rehearsed something in the training ground, and that is what they were executing on the field. I didn't see that today. For me, I think the main reason why we lost today is because the coaching was poor. It wasn't good enough. The plan was inadequate. It set the boys up to fail. It set the boys up to suffer. And that is exactly what happened today. In the second half, we came into the second half and PSG realized that we're not going to come and play with them. So what they decided to do was to continuously use their rotations. They were using the rotations in the first half. It did catch us out. And that is what brought the first goal for PSG. Konate decided to press Desiree Doué on the right-hand side because he was moving him around all over the place. He got turned. As usual this season, Konate gets turned a lot, very easily. He got turned. Desiree Doué had the ball, ran a little bit, gave the pass, received it back, and that caused a lot of chaos. Mamada really made a lot of saves today, even in that first half. So the reason why we have a slim chance of getting through to the next stage of this competition is not because of us necessarily, but I think it is because PSG were poor in terms of their finishing. They had enough opportunities to kill the game, finish it by 4 goals at least, and kill the tie. But they failed. Liverpool had a penalty given against them, and it was later on overturned by VAR. And rightly so, that ball was not a penalty. The PSG player, I've forgotten his name. I don't know why the name keeps escaping me. What is the guy's name? So he got the ball basically with him left with the goalkeeper at his mercy, and he could pick any side of the goal to shoot the ball into the net. He delayed, he hesitated, and Konate was able to get back. Now, ask the reason why Konate wasn't in the position in the first place. He got dragged out of position, and so he recovered late, made a last ditch challenge, which almost resulted in a penalty. And had it not been VAR, that would have been a penalty. I think even in the last stages of the game, where Nuno Mendes had a chance to shoot, Konate pushed him in the back. I think that was a penalty. It should have been given. At times, referees interpret that as not being enough for the player to fall. But if a player is running at that speed, the slightest nudge, especially in the back, is going to put him off. And I think that was a penalty. Because Konate, first of all, made no attempt to get the ball. That wasn't an attempt to tackle the ball. That wasn't an attempt to win the ball. He just shoved him in the back. He was nowhere near the ball. So for me, that is the definition of a foul. And if it happens in the penalty box, then it is a penalty. The second goal Liverpool conceded from PSG. We thought we were defending very well. We thought we had bodies at the back. But for me, that goal was conceded because of an individual error between, who was that? I think it was Gravenberch and Van Dijk, or Konate. I think it was either Konate or Van Dijk. So Gravenberch saw the run. The guy was making the run. Kvaratskhelia was making the run right in front of him. But I think because of tiredness, he was feeling too lazy to track him. And the ball came very quickly into Kvaratskelia's path. He allowed the ball to run, and that gave him a lot of space. So he had taken out Gravenberch basically. Because Gravenberch failed to initially block that space. He didn't block that space. He saw the space, he waited, hesitated until the pass was played through. And at that point, he was on the wrong side of the play and he couldn't do anything about that ball. So that is how come we conceded that second goal. And yet, we still did not carry any threats. The changes that were made, taking Florian Wirtz out, taking Ekitike out at the same time, and bringing in Isak. Isak needs service. He's not the kind of player to try and win the ball himself and do it on his own. He needs a service. And Wirtz was the player to give him the service. However, when he came on, Wirtz was taking off. So he had no service. He kept running around. And sometimes you feel for the players. I did feel for the players very much this particular game because I think they just ran for no reason. Today, in the few occasions where we tried to press PSG, because the press was uncoordinated, because it was so poor, you could see players like Wirtz and Szoboszlai just running around and killing themselves. For me, it was totally unnecessary to try and press because it wasn't coordinated. If it is not coordinated, don't do it because it looks very, very horrible and it just makes you more tired. And that is, it was a hard watch for me. It was indeed a very, very difficult game to watch. If you're a Liverpool fan and you watch this game and didn't feel sorry for the team, for the players, then I actually don't know. I actually also did feel very sorry for the manager. I saw his body language all right from the blast of the whistle. Arne Slot had already given up. You could see from his face, he didn't have any encouragement. Players on the field looking for direction would look at the bench and they wouldn't have anything to work with. He wasn't giving them anything on that bench. You could see from his body language, from the way he was moving on the touchline, everything about him said that this is beyond me. He cannot do it. So for me, I think if this hasn't shown why the manager should go, for me, I've always said it. It is not because he's a bad manager, but the current situation Liverpool find ourselves in, right from the beginning of the season. Even if we are to forget what happened at the tail end of last season, where we started seeing a dip in Liverpool's form. Let's take just this season, the situation that we are in. We need someone who carries energy, who can give the boys energy. That is all we need. We need that energy. That comes first and foremost, and then the tactics. Slot is a very, very good tactical manager, but now he's unable to give the boys energy. Once that energy is missing, no amount of tactics is going to work. And I think he's realized that he's realized the boys cannot go toe to toe with these teams, so he tends to now want to sit back. And coming to Anfield, I don't know exactly how we are going to approach this. If we are going to go gang ho, go toe to toe with them, we are not going to survive. We are going to get beat, just like last season. And it is going to be even worse than last season, because even last season, where we were on our toes, we were playing well. We had a better team. We had better spirit and energy about us. We got beat when we tried to go toe to toe with them. We are not going to beat them. We are not going to win the game next week if we go toe to toe with them. So I don't know what the tactics is going to be. If we sit back to we are not good enough, the coaching hasn't been good enough to help the boys carry a transitional threat. I haven't